Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good. And in this case, we're talking about the power of a shower for those experiencing homelessness. We're talking about the nonprofit ShowerUp, and we're honored to be joined by Paul Schmitz. He's the executive director and co-founder with his wife, Rhonda, of ShowerUp. Paul, how are you doing?
Man, I'm good, Jeremy. How are you doing?
Doing very well. So before we talk about ShowerUp and dive in deep, let's start with your personal story for you and your family, because you have a long history of working with those who are experiencing homelessness. And so give us some of your personal backstory leading to what leads you to launch ShowerUp.
Well, that started about a decade and a half ago. I mean, it was really a moment where I just had some real clarity of thought from a spiritual standpoint. I had read a book called Crazy Love by Francis Chan, and I'm a faith guy. So I've been a Christian for a number of years, but it was one of those moments where I kind of went, okay, am I a Christian or am I a Jesus follower? And, you know, and those are some tags and labels, but really the distinction is that if I'm going to follow Jesus, well, then I want to know what it is he really wants me to do. And as I started reading my Bible, and again, that book, Crazy Love, kind of drove me back into, okay, what is Jesus really all about? I realized in that moment that I was missing something very crucial to my faith, and that was caring for those who are, as the Bible calls it in some translations, the least of these. You know, we would call them the marginalized or the poor. As I read that, I thought, I'm not really doing anything at all in regard to caring for those who are my brothers and sisters who are on the margins of society. And so that's where it all started. It started in that moment about 15 years ago where I just said, you know what, maybe I need to do something. And it started with our family. At the time, we were living in Wichita, Kansas. And we just put together about 25 sack lunches. And we thought, we're going to go hand these out. We're just going to see if we can, you know, put a smile on somebody's face. That's all it was. 25 lunches. Let's just see what happens. After the first or second week of doing this, I began to realize, okay, what's the real purpose? What's the strategy? You know, what am I trying to accomplish here? Am I just trying to give someone a meal? And if I am, okay, is that the end of it? And I realized, well, that's not the end of it. That's not the end game. And so I really began to put together a strategy, even down to the kind of meal that we were providing. It became a real strategy for us to put together a meal that had meaning behind it. And so we started working on meals that were like, okay, what would I feed my kids on a Sunday afternoon? You know, what would that look like? And what would it look like for our family to be, you know, more involved and build relationships with people? And that's where kind of the core of ShowerUp began, was back then. Now, ShowerUp didn't actually launch until about 6 years ago, but that was where it really started.
Talk about moving to Nashville, and for you and your family, and especially your daughters, to see that level of care, compassion, service, and then we'll kind of carry it into ShowerUp. But talk about moving to Nashville and for your family, really, really pouring into the community.
Well, our move to Nashville was, you know, precipitated by a job change. And so we came here. And of course, Nashville is just a fantastic city, which is why everyone's coming here, right? I mean, this is why everyone's here. And for us, it was, okay, we're here now. We're going to get plugged into, you know, what the serving community is all about. And we connected with a couple of groups. One in particular is called People Loving Nashville. And the ironic thing about People Loving Nashville and our relationship is when we kind of started handing out those lunches, we went from 25 lunches to about 250 lunches in about 3 months, and it became an every Sunday thing. And this was in Wichita, Kansas. Well, at the time, we called ourselves People Loving Wichita. I didn't know there was a People Loving Nashville. And so when we got here, we started serving together. And my girls, you know, this was a whole family thing. We wanted to make sure that they were exposed to what it meant to serve, to care. We wanted them to see what you know, other people's lives were like. You know, that not everyone was living the way we were living, and that we can have compassion, and that we could actually begin to break down some barriers, you know, begin to look at, okay, this is a person here. Let's maybe take away a label. Let's maybe not say, well, this is a homeless person. Maybe just how about just they're a person, and let's get to know their names, and let's start to maybe have conversation. And so that's what it became a thing of, we just wanted to build some relationships. And that again built into the core of who ShowerUp would become, is it starts with relationship. And the reason we want relationship is because if you're experiencing homelessness, one of the big things is you've lost connections to people. You've burnt bridges, or bridges have been burned because of decisions, because of hurt feelings, all those kinds of things. We start with relationship, because if we can help someone to realize they can have a relationship, they can build a community, and we all need community. So that's where it all started. And the girls have been with us, I mean, every step of the way, from when they were very little to now they're teenagers, and they could run ShowerUp without me. They don't even need me.
That's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and talk about ShowerUp in a lot more detail. So you've kind of painted the picture, but go ahead and talk about what you do.
Well, ShowerUp provides mobile showers in the nuts and bolts of it. We provide mobile showers and personal care for those who are in need. That could be someone who's experiencing homelessness. It could be someone who is temporarily unhoused. It could be those who are suffering because of a disaster or something. So we provide these mobile showers. Now, I always tell people, yeah, we bring a mobile shower unit out and we'll set it up. And these showers are great. They're clean, comfortable, safe. They have a locking door. So we call it a shower suite. I hate the word stall. I know people like to say shower stalls. Huh? It's a shower suite. It's got a shower in it. It's got a sink. It's got a bench, LED lighting, air conditioning. It's vented. No one likes to get out of a shower and it's all steamed up room. And it's cleaned for them. Right before they go in, it gets cleaned for them. And they have unlimited hot water. So that's the nuts and bolts of what we provide. But on the bigger scale, it's all about starting that relationship. It's all about, if we can use a shower to let someone know that, hey, you know what, you matter, right? If we can get their name and look at them and say, Jeremy, you matter. There are people that care about you. There's a God that cares about you. You have value. Now go get a shower. Take as long as you need. And here's a clean towel, and here's all the toiletries you're going to need. Need socks and underwear? We've got you covered. So it's that kind of a relationship. So that's ShowerUp is really more than just about showers. It's about this relationship. We started here in Nashville, and we started back in 2016. And that was when we kind of established, who we were going to be and what it was going to look like. We hit the streets in about May of 2017. And since then, we've provided over 21,000 showers. And we have multiple shower units here in Nashville. We also expanded to other cities. We built an expansion program. So now we're in Huntsville, Wichita, Kansas, where where all this started. And then Chicago came on last year. Hartford, Connecticut came on this year. And we just did our first soft preview event in Chattanooga 2 weeks ago.
That's exciting. That's awesome. How do you find the locations? So talk about kind of the logistics of where you tend to go. How do you collaborate with nonprofits and other nonprofits? Talk about kind of how you map it out.
Well, one of the beautiful things about nonprofits is that we don't do a lot of things the way that business does things. For example, business would look at, someone serving this community and see, well, there's competition, there's a territorialism. We can throw all that out the window. So we do collaborate. In fact, collaboration and partnership is one of our core values. We believe that if we can come alongside with showers, maybe alongside someone who's doing a meal, someone who's serving and providing clothing or healthcare and things like that, that we're much more effective at not only taking care of the physical needs of somebody who's experiencing homelessness, but also, again, deepening that relationship and letting them know that they're cared for on multiple levels. And that's always a good thing. So we choose our locations based on a couple of things. One is we tend to look at either dedicated serving locations. So locations that are established. Monday nights in Nashville is a great example. People Loving Nashville has been serving there for years. And we come alongside, they're doing meals and clothing and a help desk and housing navigation and a multitude of other things. And we come alongside with hygiene and personal care and showers and socks and underwear. And so we like to have those kinds of relationships. When we look at those locations, that's kind of an easy thing. It's already established. We also then try to find locations that are very close to where people are living. in camps and things like that. So we'll go to some of the camps. We'll go to what's called Old Tent City, which is just off of Hermitage Avenue. And we'll go down there and we'll set up. We're there twice a week right now. That may increase actually, but we go down there and we try to be where people are, because part of this is building dignity and value. And so part of the dignity of that is, you know what, I'm not going to make you walk, for 2 or 3 hours just to get a shower. We're mobile. We can go where you are. And again, that communicates to them that they matter. They're important. And we think that instills dignity in people's lives.
Give us, you don't have to name names or anything like that, but give us a story that illustrates the impact. So go ahead and talk about kind of what the feedback's been, testimonials, kind of that, the success story.
One of my favorites is a guy that we met on the very first night we were serving, and his name was Kenneth. And so Kenneth came and got a shower, and we asked him, just because we didn't really, this is the very first time we'd ever done this. And the very first time we'd ever seen it done live. When we first started, I think there might have been 2 other organizations in the country that were doing this that we knew of. And so I'd never seen it done live, and here we were doing it. And, Kenneth came up and got a shower, and afterwards I'm just talking to him and just going, how was it? Just trying to get some feedback. Was the water hot? All that sort of thing. He said, man, it was great. I said, well, just give me an idea. How long has it been since you've actually had the chance to take a real shower? Because when we started here in Nashville, the estimate was that there were about 5,000 people who were living unhoused and unsheltered. There were a dozen shower heads available to them. Not a dozen shower locations, a dozen shower heads. And that would have been, if you can get there at the right time, if you can, if you can get in line, all that sort of thing. For people who are working, it was almost impossible. And a lot of our unhoused friends, they have jobs. So for a lot of them, it was impossible to get a shower. So I just asked him, I said, how long has it been? And he said, it's been 49 days. Now, quick math, that's 7 weeks. And he knew exactly how long it had been. That was impactful to us. So that was one of those moments where we're going to go, wow, this guy really was in need. Well, he came back the next week. At this time, we were just doing one event a week with people living in Nashville on a Monday night. He came back the next Monday. He came back the following. For about 3 months, he came back every Monday night. There's Kenneth getting a shower. We had a chance to strike up some conversation. He had some real trauma in his life. He had some real challenges. He had some damage done that he inflicted, some of his decisions. And we got to know a lot of his story. Well, then one Monday night, we're down there, and Kenneth doesn't show up. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Where's he at? And I had no way to get a hold of him. I didn't know where his camp was or anything. And I started really getting concerned. Well, about a half an hour into our serving event, he shows up. He comes walking up the sidewalk. I said, Kenneth, man, good to see you. Where you been? He goes, oh, man, I've just been doing a lot of different stuff. I said, okay, well, cool. I said, you going to get a shower tonight? And he goes, nope. Okay. And I'm thinking, I've offended him. I did something to damage the relationship. It's so important. And he said, no. He says, I don't have time. I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, I don't want to be late. I said, late for what? He goes, I got a job. And he went on to tell just about how, and it wasn't just ShowerUp, but we believe that a shower can be kind of a core moment where someone can make a decision. Someone can decide, what, maybe today is the day I go to that job interview. Maybe today is the day I call my parents. Maybe today is the day that I make a decision about my sobriety. And he said, yeah, I'm going to head off to work. I'll see you later. And he went off to work, and he kept the job, and I haven't seen Kenneth in years. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how can we help your efforts?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to be involved with ShowerUp. And, obviously as a nonprofit organization, we want to involve as many people as we possibly can. One of the ways, obviously, donations. We're funded. People ask me all the time, well, how are you funded? I said, primarily individuals, families. We have some churches that support us. We have some businesses that support us. But we don't have big corporations. We don't have government grant money. We don't have any of that kind of thing. We're very much a grassroots organization. And so donations are fantastic for us. One of the ways you can be involved, just come volunteer. I honestly, when we started this, I said, I want to have as many people volunteer as possible, even if they have no experience. And so we have a very low threshold for engagement. If you show up and no experience, it doesn't take much to hand someone a clean towel, right? It doesn't take much to have someone, smile. Need a pair of socks? Here's your toiletries for you to go, take your shower. We also do shower prep. So as I mentioned, we clean the shower before each person goes in. It's an important distinction. We never clean up after anybody. Jeremy, if I clean up after you, that's undignified for you and for me, right? But if I prepare a space for you, that's life-giving for you. That says to you, you matter and I value you. So you can come and volunteer. And then there's other ways to get involved by doing collections for us, collect toiletries, make shower kits for us. We hand out shower kits at the rate of about 1,000 a month. And so we go through quite a lot. So you can make shower kits, do collections of sleeping bags, a variety of other things that we'll use throughout the year, bug spray in the summer. So there's a lot of ways you can be involved.
I love it. Well, wrap up with website. Where do we go to reach out, learn more, but get involved?
Well, the website is showerup.org, and you can make a donation there. You can sign up to volunteer. You can see more info. All of our social media stuff is going to be ShowerUp on Facebook and on Instagram. Just look us up as ShowerUp.
So the website again, showerup.org. Well, Paul, thank you for all you and your wife and your family are doing, all your volunteers. I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeremy.